Again, my name is Greg Gamble, and I'm a land planning consultant representing Holiday Properties. We have several members of Holiday Properties that are in the meeting tonight. Sorry if I'm pausing, I'm letting more people into the meeting. All right. I will ask that you keep yourself on pause during the presentation. There'll be plenty of time after the presentation to ask any questions. We certainly want to have enough time to answer everyone's. We have two ways that you can talk with us tonight through Zoom. One is to just simply take yourself off mute. The other is we have the chat option available. So if during the presentation you have a question and you don't want to forget it, feel free to just type it in the chat and we'll get to it when we finish the presentation. Holiday Properties purchased the factory just a few years ago. And as a resident of Franklin, I'm sure you can see the changes that are taking place within the factory itself. In this proposal, we're requesting a development plan amendment. Following the factory district that was created in Envision Franklin, the use of hotel was added to the factory district as a possible use. So the factory is proposing to add a 120 room hotel in between the factory and the railroad tracks, and to add a parking structure that would have approximately 250 parking spaces within the parking structure in the back along the northern property line. The image at the top shows the existing parking lot. The image at the bottom shows the proposed hotel and parking garage. With the proposed hotel, the alignment of the entrance into the parking lot will create a four-way intersection with Daniels Drive. We are at the very early stages of this proposal, and our traffic engineers are working with the City of Franklin traffic engineers. This may warrant that Daniel Drive become a signalized intersection, and that's being evaluated now. But the new location allows for more automobile stacking and storage on the factory campus, so that it makes this intersection much better than what it is in the existing condition today. We've also redesigned the parking lot between the hotel and the railroad track to meet the current city standards that elevates the amount of landscape that is within a parking lot. It also increases and improves the pedestrian circulation within the parking lot, making it safer, giving identifiable sidewalks and connection points back to the hotel from the parking lot. You'll notice that the detention pond that's out there now that tends to hold a lot of water after rain is no longer a part of the parking lot. This detention area will be put underground underneath the parking lot. We're introducing two stormwater features on each side of the new entrance that aligns with Daniels Drive. These two features will be rain gardens and bioretention areas, allowing that stormwater to infiltrate down into the ground. The City of Franklin has a requirement that the first 1 inch of rainfall that falls has to be infiltrated down for groundwater recharge, and that's what these areas are doing here. This will be planted with native plants, flowering plants, and you'll see pockets and areas of river rock within these rain gardens. In this proposal, we are proposing to rehab Building 9, partial rehab of Building 9, and rehab of Building 10. You'll notice that the farmer's market canopy is removed from the master plan. It is proposed to be removed when the hotel and the garage are constructed. Building 9 will be incorporated into the hotel as the hotel swimming pool. So a portion of the roof would be removed, allowing sunlight in. Building 9 was constructed as a pole barn when the factory was operating. It had wooden columns on individual concrete piers and a dirt floor. It's most appropriate for us to rehab this in a way that protects the outside of Building 9 so that it's still identifiable, and I'll talk about that in more detail. Building 10 was renovated a few years ago. It has a new roof and new exterior on it. That new portion that was added just a few years ago will be removed, and Building 9 will be incorporated into the lobby area of the hotel with a portion of it out into a new open courtyard. You may be familiar with the concrete pad that sits right outside of Liberty Hall. That concrete pad will be removed, and that area will become a new courtyard. In addition, all of the overhead electric that you see through the parking lot will now be put underground and will improve the visibility and the experience for patrons to the factory. So this is a bird's eye perspective that shows the hotel in this location. It's kind of an L-shaped hotel. The portion of the hotel that faces out to Liberty Pike would be a 2-story facade. The hotel drop-off is just to the east with a small covered canopy. Along this portion of the hotel in the front, where the lobby is located, there will be a hotel bar. These are 3 garage doors that can open up to the courtyard so that you can have an indoor-outdoor experience from the hotel lobby out into the courtyard space. Beyond that, you see Building 10. In between the bar and Building 10 would be some casual seating, some outdoor lounge areas that might include couches and coffee tables. Building 10 would be used potentially for beverage service or light snack service out to the courtyard. Building 9's facade would be preserved as it is today, keeping the same architectural character, but a lot of the older materials will be replaced with the like-kind materials. You then see behind the facade of Building 9, the swimming pool, and then the hotel beyond. This is a perspective rendering then into the courtyard. This would be an activated space for the factory, but intended to be a grand lawn. The grand lawn would be used for maybe tinted cocktail events outside of Liberty Hall, where there could be a relationship between events in Liberty Hall and then spill outside on a nice day to the grand lawn. We see between Building 9 and the grand lawn an excellent opportunity to introduce public art and create a plaza. Just below Building 10, we have the outdoor lounge areas and the outdoor bar space connected to the hotel. This is a perspective view looking at the hotel from Liberty Pike, from the parking lot. You'll see right here we have an open air portion that has a 2-story volume of the hotel above it. This will be a pedestrian corridor through the hotel that will allow patrons to access from the parking lot all the way to Mojo Tacos. This used to be an old rail line spur from the railroad that would allow materials to be delivered into the factory, or to pick up supplies or pick up goods that were finished and then back to the railroads. We want to honor that, and we want to respect that, and we want that to be captured in the new design as we're looking at continuing that pedestrian corridor from the parking lot through the factory campus. And that's in this location right here. So this pedestrian sidewalk, this corridor, that's where the old rail line spur was, and it continued all the way up to about Mojo Tacos. The garage, again, will have about 250 parking spaces in it. It's a 2-story structure with parking on 3 floors. It will be tucked behind the factory and in line with Building 2, which is over here on the end facing out toward Franklin Road. The access to the parking lot will be from, or parking garage will be from this back parking lot directly adjacent to the carousel building. So you can kind of see those relationships there. The carousel building is under construction now, and the mechanical part of the carousel will likely be installed late spring of next year. It's going to house the creations, the sculptures that have been constructed by Ken Means for Carousel. We're really excited about this, and this is a part of the public art component, as well as Rusty, which is very important to the factory district. So at this time, we want to open it up to questions. Alan Arender and Benton Smothers with Holiday Properties are also on the call with us if you have specific questions for them, but we'll open it up. So feel free to use the chat bar if you want to and type your questions or take yourself off mute. Again, this is a little bit early in the process. We have not formally filed. We have filed our pre-application submittal. With our formal filing, we'll include our parking study, traffic study as well, and both of those are underway right now. Yes, Tony?
Yeah, I heard what you said about redoing the parking lot, and obviously the parking garage is going to add more spaces.
Yeah.
Do you expect to pick up more spaces in the lot itself with the changes you're making, or is some of that you do? Okay.
We will. Right now, if I go back to the existing conditions, you'll see that there are no parking spaces along this northern property line here. With the new configuration, we're going to be adding parking spaces there. Right now, there are train cars alongside the northern property line. We're going to be adding parking spaces there. The new landscape that we're adding within the parking lot here and the removal of the parking spaces that are in front of Liberty Hall create a net zero balance in the total number of surface parking spaces that are provided. When we put the parking garage in, we will go from 916 parking spaces to a total of 1,164. So we're picking up quite a bit more parking with the addition of the garage. The other thing about the location of the garage is that this front part here is where most people want to park. This is where they're struggling to find parking. Usually there's parking that's available back here along the railroad track, but this is the area where it makes most sense to concentrate that additional parking. In chat, someone asked, how far below parking minimums would the new garage development make the factory even with the garage? The garage will add parking spaces to the factory campus. So it will be above the minimum required, including the sharing factors with the uses that are within the hotel. Can you talk about the timing? The construction of the hotel and the garage would most likely start probably toward the end of next year. It's about a 2-year construction development. So let's see, what happens to the boxcars used for storage at the back of the parking lot? We're trying to figure that out. They probably will not be on the campus in the future, but we're not sure yet. Another one from chat. Will the parking garage be free or paid for? We're not sure on that one yet either. We're still evaluating both of those alternatives. The parking lot, the surface parking lots will always be free. When will the hotel be expected to be complete? We're estimating right now about 2.5 to 3 years. And again, will the boxcars be repurposed? We're not sure yet. We're evaluating that. We think that it would really be interesting to have some creative use for those, but just not sure. Alan and Benton, you correct me if I'm wrong on anything, but I think that's consistent with what we've talked about.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. I think that the trick with the box cars is getting through modern codes, and and how do you repurpose something like that? It's very different. So we've been trying to figure that out. We just haven't come to any solution yet.
James and Tony, I'm putting you back on mute just to eliminate background noise, but if you have any more questions, feel free to take yourself off mute. We have a question here on chat. How is the hotel going to keep guests from hearing the trains when they come through at night? Well, I think most of the trains come through morning and afternoon. If there's a train at night, I'm sure it'll just be a part of the ambiance of staying at the hotel at the factory.
Well, I mean, modern buildings have, insulation and that type of thing, which we'll look at in construction. But it's nothing new. We've done this before.
Do you know the brand of the hotel? Do you want to answer that one, Benton or Alan?
Not yet. We haven't landed on, it will be a factory branded hotel. If we have what's called a flag, a brand associated with it, we have not made that decision yet.
And we have one here. Just wanted to put in a good word for bicycle access and bike parking. Saw the cyclist in the rendering. We agree 100%.
Yep.
I live on Daniels Drive and have a significant parking issues on Saturday mornings due to activities at the factory. Will the garage provide more parking than what the hotel requires? Do you have other solutions for our traffic and parking issues? Yes, the garage will add parking. The garage has about 250 parking spaces in it. A lot of the problems with Saturday morning traffic and parking issues relate to the farmers market. That farmers market has a lease that's in place that can't be revoked, but it will be ending soon, and the farmers market will be relocating. Nice design, very complimentary to the original historic property. Great start. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Again, this is very early in the process. We are going to have another neighborhood meeting that's going to be in person on February the 11th at the factory. It should have been in the notification that you've received for this meeting. And please think on this. And if you have any other comments you want to share with us on the 11th, we'll be at the factory to host. Let's see, will the parking garage be visible from the street? We are tucking the parking garage in behind building 3, as you see here, and behind building 2 to limit the view shed. There is a second building that's here on Franklin Road. There is a little glimpse of that parking garage potentially from both sides of this building, but there are existing trees that are in here as well. You would really have to search hard to make sure that you just see the garage going down Franklin Road, but you won't experience the garage from Franklin Road or Liberty Pike. We had a significant issue due to the Made South event. The issues are not just the farmers market. Thank you for that comment. Appreciate that. We'll taking those things into consideration as well. I don't want to miss any questions or comments. But if we're wrapped up, we'll end the meeting. Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you said this a minute ago, but I missed it. I think wind was blowing or something. What's the time frame of starting construction and when you think you'll be done?
We believe that we could probably start construction toward the end of next year, and it would be about 2 years of construction till it's finished.
Okay. Thank you. It looks great.
Thank you. We've been working hard to figure out all these moving parts and pieces. All right. Well, everybody have a good night. Thank you.
Thank y'all for doing this.
Yes, sir.